What's up, guys? We're here at Collision 2024 in Toronto. I have too much gum in my mouth, hold on. What's up, guys? We're here at Collision 2024 in Toronto, the tech conference. And what better question to ask people than about X and Elon Musk and how he's been running Twitter? Are they for free speech? Are they against how Elon is running X? Has he taken it too far? Let's find out. Today we're asking people if they think that AI has the possibility to go too far in the near future, if it's dangerous at all, or if it's something that we should really harness for our own opportunities. Talking about like the very near future, the next couple of years. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel we don't have the real AI just yet to ask that question. Real intelligence is not computational, it's not algorithm based. So if we're talking about some computational AI having an impact on society, for sure, and there's pros and cons to that. We're here today, by the way, to talk about the real AI, what's not computational. It's a digital nervous system that develops itself and has an ability to learn from the environment without programming. So by doing that, what you get is a society of billion different AIs interacting with each other, and not one big AI, big brother, taking advantage of you. And that's what our company AI Synth is doing. We're creating an AI that will be personal to everybody, so it's a digital nervous system. So that way, if you think about it, that kind of AI cannot conquer or make you a slave or take away anything from you, because it will be an enhancement of your personality, of that dog, of that cat. It's a digital system that will just evolve. It's a digital living form. So if you position what's AI, AI is an intelligence that cannot be pre-programmed, that's able to have an answer to a solution it's never seen before, it's never been pre-programmed or pre-trained on before. It's about self-learning. If everybody gets their own personal AI, then there's no danger that one personal AI will come and create a problem for you.
We've been talking to some AI people.
Okay. You're talking to another one.
Yeah, okay. What if I told you the last lady, whom I won't name, said that they're developing and what's the word? A living AI creature that can live on its own and, develop its own personality. And her company basically wants to create a world of AI creatures that create a new living being of AI creatures that can live and learn in the environment. How do you feel about that? Whoa, we got him.
I think it would be super interesting to see in a reasonably closed environment.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it could potentially teach us a lot about what the process of learning looks like abstracted away from any one given species. So it wouldn't be what learning looks like for humans specifically, but what learning looks like fundamentally. And so that could be super interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of other learnings we could pull out of that. But past it being an experiment for learning, I'd be skeptical.
And you're approaching this from one central AI or one central place for data storage. What we're saying is that there is no one human being, or there is no one bee flying around there. It's a society of human beings or bees, and there's no one centralized controller of that society. So what we are advocating as a company is a society of AIs that Andrew and Andrew will control, and nobody else will be able to do so. It actually empowers you as an individual, as opposed to you becoming a victim to a system that will have your data, or will choose the search results on Google for you, or will know more than you want. So your personal AI empowers you to protect your identity in the society of computational AI that does exactly what you're saying.
But if your company's creating the AI for that person, then wouldn't you ultimately have control?
No, we're not creating. The person is creating the AI for themselves.
One of you is my partner. The other is a sack of shit. Question is, who's who?
So what are you providing then?
We're providing the technology to create a digital nervous system that will not require programming. I mean, it will require programming for the servicing of the AI, but not for the actual digital AI. Because if you think about it, when you have a baby, and the baby learns to walk, and the baby grows into an adult, there's no algorithm. A parent does not write an algorithm for the baby.
Yeah, but the baby can't connect to the internet with its brain.
Right, but the baby learns from the mother, from the father, from whoever is giving the information. This is how nervous system develops. It doesn't develop because 1,000 programmers could foresee all the input that the baby's brain is going to get.
So what you're advocating for basically is that each person has their own individual like program as an AI, and they teach it stuff about themselves, and therefore it helps them accomplish whatever they want to accomplish?
Exactly, except for I wouldn't call it a program. It's a living, digital, evolving form of any nervous system, of a dog, of a cat, of a human. Eventually will become a society of empowered, independent AIs, and not one big AI that will come and take your job from taking interviews from us, right? So we're here to actually stand up for what's happening, have a technology that will empower people to become their own AIs.
Sometimes you go for a haircut and they ask you how far off the top or off the sides. I just say, give me the Latvia. How do you feel about the EU being able to make decisions for your country? Are you for or against that? Do you think it's necessary?
Yeah, well, basically, these elections Walter just mentioned, those are like the European Parliament elections. Yeah, like which means that basically our country voted for a few members from Latvia, which will kind of represent the whole country there. To be honest, as we are a really small country, it's really hard to have any impact there. Yeah. And kind of like we are just flowing, going with the flow. So yeah, and I'm fine with that. Like,
I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like if there was a North America Union, I wouldn't want them telling my country what to do.
Well,
it's not exactly like
you're a big country, right? Latvia is a small country, and I think it's very beneficial for us to be under EU. It's very hard to It's all about like inventing bicycles again and thinking, we are a small country with big hearts and we will do everything better than the others and it'll be better in any way and we want to go our own way. That's very ambitious, but there's a difference between high ambitions and reality. And I think for us, for Latvia, it's very convenient and it's nice to be under EU. That's my opinion.
I think Latvia can accomplish everything on its own. I think Latvia is one of the better countries in Europe. I believe in Latvia, you guys. Dimitris, I believe in you, okay? You've come to this country. You said, I don't care who's in this country. You probably said you don't even like Canada, right?
No, and then Canada. I told him it's the same like Latvia, and I love Latvia as well, so basically.
He hates Canada. No, I'm just kidding, all right? Thank you, guys. Immigration too high?
Absolutely not. We need 1 million people to replace all the people leaving because of the baby boomers from the workforce. Over the next 5 years, 1 million people leave every year for the next 5 years. We're way too short. Our GDP is going to shrink and collapse. You asked the wrong person with that.
Not necessarily.
Okay, yeah. We need more immigration if Canada's going to survive, period. And we need to get that happening right away. As to how we're doing it, we might be doing it wrong. I agree with that. But I think there's a whole bunch of really cool mechanisms that Canada has developed, and they're underutilizing them.
We work for the government of Canada, Sean?
No, but I should.
Next question, how do we lower housing prices then? Is it just as simple as building more houses? Do we just build infinity houses? They can't seem to do it right now. What's the solution to higher cost of living?
So your assumption is that all houses should be lower cost?
No, my assumption is that housing prices have exploded in the last 2 years, as has immigration.
So you're connecting those two dots, and I'm not sure that they're necessarily connectable because the media has connected them. But the fact is, housing prices are raising already, and we're blaming immigrants for that problem, which is
why... We're not blaming immigrants. We're blaming the government.
We're blaming the government. Yeah, well, the government's blamed for everything, right? We can blame that they're an easy patsy for that.
Okay.
But the fact is that immigration isn't directly proportional to housing crisis. Number one is that immigration tends to be a problem in places where, for example, we have a lot of students moving in, so a lot of the student-oriented places like Toronto and Waterloo, et cetera, have housing crises. You don't see that in Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, the housing prices are insane in Sault Ste. Marie. Yes, they are.
Well, it's not as bad as downtown Toronto.
Oh, nowhere's as bad as downtown Toronto, but you can say that about a lot of places. The housing prices all across Ontario are insane.
Yeah, we should stop building streets and start building elevators, like the rest of the world has done.
Interesting.
Japan puts a lot more people in in a lot less space, and they don't have as much space to use. We just are so used to having so much space that we tend to want everybody to have a giant lawn.
So people shouldn't have large lawns? What's with that? You can't have a lawn?
No, lawn is a serious...
Caitlin, how do you feel about that? Lawns or no lawn? What do you prefer?
I like my lawn, I guess.
She likes her lawn. Sean wants to take your lawn away from you.
How big a lawn do you actually need?
I don't need a big lawn, no. I don't need anything crazy.
how many butterflies and bees are you willing to kill so that you can
It's
like,
her
do,
right.
like, this
She wants
every
to
once in
have a
while?
big lawn. Why can't she have a big lawn?
Because we need the space to put up some elevators. So
We
can
need the
have less
space so we can cram more people in. That's what you're arguing right now.
It's just that the idea that having these giant lawns, which is what everybody wants, they want their giant lawn, and then they spend the rest of their weekends doing something meaningless, which is mowing their goddamn lawn.
Immigration too high?
Yeah, okay. I would say it's gotten too high. Personally, I own a staffing business, and it like benefits me personally. Like most people that we're dealing with are PRs. It's a tech staffing business too, right? So, but there's got to be some kind of reasonable limit. I don't think the Canadian infrastructure is able to kind of absorb the numbers that we've got coming in right now.
Now, the last guy we spoke to with green hair, footnote that, said that there is no correlation between extremely high immigration and housing prices and cost of living. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I would disagree with that.
And why is that?
It's a supply and demand issue, right? The more people that we have coming to the country, the more demand there is for housing. Higher equals higher rents equals higher housing prices.
I should have had Jeremy with me against the green-haired guy.
Yes and no. Okay. Infrastructure is not growing as fast as they're coming in. Many people and diverse groups of people and people immigrating are no problem at all. But for that to happen and for that to be sustainable, you also have to have the infrastructure. Do I believe that infrastructure is growing as fast as that? No. And is that an issue? Yes.
Immigration too high?
I don't think so. I'm an immigrant.
Okay.
Hey, let's go.
Well, you could still think it's too high if you're an immigrant. You would like to qualify it in any way, shape, or form?
I think qualified immigrants add a lot to an economy, and I think you should increase immigration if it's, they're bringing a lot to the economy.
I agree with that in theory. How do we feel about that?
I agree. I'm also an
Okay.
immigrant.
From?
Ireland.
Ugh,
India.
go back to Ireland.
Damn.
I'd like to take the time right now to do another land acknowledgement to Toronto. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of meaningless stuff. Most of the activism stuff we haven't seen here at Collision, but one thing is for sure, there has been room for race-based entrepreneurialism, and as well here is pretending that we care about Native people. That's basically what this is. This is a fake activist thing of the Anishinaabe, where we pretend like we never seceded the land and that we never lost a war, and we monetize that, and that's basically what all of that is about. Sir, do you agree? Well, if you go to the Rogers Center and you see the land acknowledgement they have inside of there,
They have everywhere.
that's written by an activist group,
It's written by one group. You could call them activists.
so it's not activism to get a
Well,
gigantic corporation.
Not according to the Canadian government. It might be activist to you, but
Is the Canadian government like that's just one group of people?
well, yeah. But you said activist, so whatever that means.
That means a person who is purposely wants to get that message to support their narrative.
Well,
It's
I
not
don't
just
know.
some guy who's just like,
Activists are
this
not-
is the fact, and therefore nobody can argue with it.
So right now, like in Canada, just like in the U.S., you can't change your amendments easily.
You can't, no.
Right, exactly.
You can
So
change
here,
lots.
they
Canada
made
doesn't
it
have
into
a real
law.
constitution.
So they made it into law, for better, for worse, and it's on maybe even our generation, right? They made it into law, so you got to live by it until someone changes the law.
Yeah, but do you believe it should be changed?
Well, what reason do you have to change it at this time?
You're just avoiding the question.
No,
Do
but-
you think that
Like-
there should be? Do you think reserves should exist?
Why do you want to change it then at this time?
I'm asking you if you think that it should be or not. Why can't you answer that?
No, but it's not me. Like
It is you. I'm asking you. Do you think that they should be
I get it.
allowed or not?
No, but for most of us, it's there.
Yeah.
We haven't thought about whether we should change it or not.
Lots of people have thought about that.
Have you thought about keeping it?
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to keep it or not? You don't want to keep it.
You're just turning the same question around on me that you're not
But if
willing to
you're-
question.
if you-
Now, what about people who might have concerns about AI taking away too many human jobs? How do you feel about that?
Oh, well, certain things are inevitable if you're not ready to understand that cheese has moved and you need to move and understand that you need to find new cheese.
But I think that the risks of not utilizing AI now potentially exacerbate those long-term risks.
How do you mean?
For example, if we don't utilize and develop now, then we're going to lose out in the long term to other markets, to other people.
So I think it's going to bring a lot of money, but at the same time it's going to take a lot of money out of the market as well. So there's like a really good part of it, and then there's a bad part of it, which some companies may lose because of the AI doing what they were doing before.
So AI, it's like water in the sea. You can not like it, but anyhow, if it goes against you, you will drown.
What about people's concern that AI will take away too many low-level jobs? Fast food, grocery store, maybe gas station, I don't know. Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, sorry. At that time, when AI will take those jobs, it also could provide education. So people would be able to get education easier, so they will also could apply to more professional jobs.
I think it's a good, what they've been doing so far, what I've seen, it's so far so good. Obviously, you can't really replace people at the end of the day. I think we'll always need people to work, but I guess it does make systems faster. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think we have to remember that people still are important to businesses as well.
We're asking people if they believe that Elon has managed X well in terms of freedom of speech and his political positions. Very loaded question, I know. How do you think he has managed it? For better or for worse, allowing almost anything to be said on the platform? How do you feel about that?
I think we all have the freedom of speech, right? Yes. As long as we don't violate other people's freedoms or beliefs, I think we should be fine.
I think he's ruined. I think by I don't know. It's it's complete mess. I think, and to be honest, I'm afraid opening the app. I'm not like a sensitive. I'm a big man, obviously. But it makes me sensitive by seeing the stuff over there.
I think it's a mixed bag. So to answer your question, I think it's good to have more freedom and not ban people at a whim. But at the same time, I do think you have to have some moderation to try to keep some discourse and also prevent and combat false misinformation.
I think it's gone a little bit too far, but I think he did make the right move in terms of making sure that people can really speak their minds. I think now it's just a matter of going back a little bit more and finding the balance, because there's certain things being said on Twitter that are a little bit tough.
Well, who would be in charge of deciding what's acceptable?
Exactly.
Right? I think that should be determined by the laws, and we should have a range to say what we want to say within legal guidelines.
And what would you say is your most controversial opinion?
I mean, I believe in free speech for sure. Yeah. What's the Voltaire saying? I may not agree with what you say, but will defend your right to say it. I might not defend it to death, but yeah, I believe in that. Yeah. I think that people like Elon, I think it's great that he's upholding free speech. But yeah, I might not agree with everything that's being said, but I think there needs to be a platform that allows that.
To a certain extent, for sure. Yeah.
What's the extent go to, do you think?
Well, there's all sorts of things that people can, especially with children on social media, right? So they use a lot of things like bullying and stuff like that we experience. So I don't know if you guys have kids or not, but.
Would you be in favor, either of you, of putting an age minimum on social media? And what would that age be, do you think?
Absolutely. I think that's essential to have on. I think at least minimum age 16. Simply because there's so much hate speech, bullying, all that stuff. I feel like 16 is sort of the age where parents can have those conversations before their kids get on social media. Up until then, I just don't think they're ready, and parents might not be ready to have those conversations, so for sure.
Are you really for free speech, or do you think that people shouldn't be able to say anything they want online?
I'm for it.
Not a girl.
I'm for it. Yeah. What about you?
Of course.
I think you should continue what he's doing.
And want to elaborate?
I'm not an Elon fanboy, but I think private company, do whatever you want, I guess, live life. He's earned it at this point.
Simply, I think that the stance on free speech specifically and the way that he's handled that at X is more of a marketing exercise than anything else. I think he's just drumming up controversy because it makes headlines.
Well, I mean, he's the head of Twitter, of X now, and
like he almost has the control of like that media platform. So
He's the owner.
yeah, and I don't read a lot about that, so I don't have a lot of informed.
Damn.
I don't think you want to have unfettered ability to just advertise things that are patently false or patently call for violence. So I think a line has to be drawn there. Smarter people than me can probably discuss and debate where that line exactly is, but I think you have to have some limitation, but you also don't want it to turn into, George Orwell's 1984 on the flip side.
I gotta say it's a little bit in between. I think he took on this social platform as a fun project for himself, not really in his innovative style, and I think it's just a fun project. I think he could have used his talents for something else or maintaining his current companies.
All right, thank you very much. What else do you want to say? What else do you want to talk about today?
I don't know, Elon, complete your projects. Really get those trains going, fix your Teslas. Like, we love your innovation, but you gotta complete those things, bud.
If you look at history, there are a lot of really great people that have done some amazing things. And you could probably say that, and probably people in the future will say that about Elon. Obviously, a lot of people will say the opposite. And if you're an entrepreneur, you know that very well. You know that you're going to have equal amounts of haters as you will people that are lovers, and maybe a little section in the middle. So, good for him that he's willing to take that heat and do things that will bring that heat. So,
Elon, you have an ally in Joe Catan Albert from Snow Group. All right, guys, we're wrapping up here at Collision 2024 in Toronto. My throat is raw. Everyone's opinions on real estate and immigration are wrong. Their opinions on AI were pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Except for who, Mystery Camera Person X? The crazy Soviet Union scientist lady. She was wrong. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to look at the Patreon links in the subscription. Like, share, subscribe, all that stupid old YouTube stuff, and we'll hit you next time. Remember, I wouldn't lie to you, except for maybe this once.